final 23 miles under the green. And we'll see if Doug Wolfgang can maintain his supremacy.
Mike, one comment. More often than not, more World of Outlaw sprint car races are won as a result of changes made during a red flag than any other single factor.
Carter Alsop is down in the Doug Wolfgang pit as the refueling commences. There is Wolfgang. Let's go to pit road.
Here we are with Doug Wolfgang. He's getting out of his driving gear. We want to ask him what happened out there when Swindell got by him. Doug, what happened?
I just got trapped in a lap car.
You did. How does it feel?
All right.
What do you think accounts for the fact that you pulled right back out in the lead as quickly as you did?
I don't know. I guess we're just hooked up today.
What about your tires? They're smoking. Is that the normal? Is that normal?
Just water from the infield making them steam.
What about your tires? Do they feel good out there?
Yeah, excellent.
Are you going to change anything?
Yes, I guess he is going to change a few things. You can see that Doug Wolfgang is very intent on getting this car set up and hooked up for the second half of competition. Larry, a car coming in after 40 laps is kind of like halftime. We don't have the marching bands, but certainly these drivers get a good chance to work things over and rethink. We'll find out what's going to happen in round 2 when we come back to the Syracuse Super Nationals. Back at Syracuse, we're getting to start the second half of the Syracuse Super Nationals. Let's go to Carter Alsop on pit road. During the refueling break, she had a chance to talk with Jeff Swindell.
Jeff Swindell has just changed his gearing. I want to ask him a little bit about that.
I don't know. We're not getting down the straightaways quite as fast as we need to be, and we're just putting a little rubber on and maybe change our luck and get up on front instead of running second and third.
We want you to talk about your car a little bit. Can you tell us some of the things that you feel are helping you stay up front?
Well, Goodyear's got us on some real good tires, and we're staying in there real well, and the car's working really well. Everything's just going together.
What kind of a motor have you got in it?
It's got a Chevrolet. It's a 400 and bored out to a 406.
What kind of horsepower does it turn?
Oh, I don't know. It's on up there a little bit.
Is that a secret? Come on.
Oh, no.
What kind of RPMs do you turn in this thing?
I don't know. We're probably turning around 7 grand right now.
Really? What's your compression?
It's about 13.5 one.
That's a lot.
Pretty good bit.
How are your tires working out there?
They're really doing good. We needed this pit stop. The right rear was just completely bald. Left rear was still in good shape, but we went ahead and put new rubber on anyway, a little bit softer. Maybe she'll be a little bit faster from now on out.
All right. Good luck, Jeff. Thanks.
Thank you.
Take it.
It's a mandatory stop for all cars to refuel. As you can see, they don't have the drive brake coupling like the NASCAR Grand National cars, so they cannot refuel on the fly. In the interest of safety, all cars are stopped, they're refueled, and now, Larry, they're ready to go.
Well, not quite, Mike. Some of the drivers are ready to go after they refuel, but there are a lot of other things that you can do to these cars if you so choose. By the way, we're on the parade lap here for the restart of this race, and one of our top 10 cars, the number 46 car of Kenny Jacobs, is sitting at an angle perpendicular to the flow of traffic, and something has gone awry with Kenny Jacobs on the parade lap.
He's lost a wheel, Larry. There's a wheel. Apparently, when they changed the tire on Jacobs' car, they've got that huge lock nut, one single nut, not 5, and it must have backed off because he's lost one up there in the turn, and the wreckers are going to his aid.
Well, Mike, we were beginning to comment about the things that you can change in a situation like this. Tires, the obvious next answer here, the next subject to get into. Not only can they change the tires, which obviously will give you perhaps a different tread design, they can actually change what the racers call the stagger, or the difference in size between the right rear and the left rear tire, which gives the car an altogether different feel and different bite going into the turns. The tire pressure can be changed on these cars, also has a big effect on how they handle. They could actually change gears, that ratio between power and the drive to the rear wheels during a stop like this. Now, you won't see too much of that because most of these crews are pretty experienced and they know exactly the right gear that normally is used for a track like this. You can actually work with also the fuel and air mixture during a red flag stop.
As we wait for the restart, you can get the inside scoop on the latest in the sporting world when Len Berman hosts ESPN Sports Forum. Also, Sports Center Plus. Saturdays and Sundays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time. It's an exciting concept in sports journalism. It's Sports Center Plus. Over 4 hours of sports news reported as it happens. Up-to-the-minute information on college and pro football, baseball, hockey, and basketball with ESPN's staff of experts. It's new. It's ESPN's Sports Center Plus.
Mike, we just saw Kenny Jacobs walking back to the pits following his incident on the yellow flag, and you can tell by the gait on that young man that he feels that's something that just shouldn't happen. He's a little upset about what went on. Now, did go on, that is to say. There's one other thing that can be changed on these cars that is a new innovation, so to speak, of the 1970s and the 1980s. We did a lot of talking about aerodynamics before this race began. They can actually change wings during a red flag stop, and certainly something that a lot of the teams will tinker with is the angle of the reflection of the air going across the airfoil. So there you have a list of quite a number of items. These cars actually can be re-engineered during a red flag.
Doug Wolfgang, car number 4, your unofficial leader, 26 there on the right side. That is Barry Camp, and he is 1 lap behind. So the second place car is back in the second row. That is Steve Smith, the Black Bandit 66. We are under green. Yellow flag laps do not count in this second half. 23 laps to determine the winner, and Wolfgang is well out in front. Steve Smith is caught in traffic. He's behind that lap car, and Wolfie is allowed to, if you pardon the expression, sprint away.
Yeah, Mike, indeed he is. Keep in mind one thing, there's no strategy whatsoever from here on out. We've got 23 laps to go. That's well under 15 minutes, closer to 10 minutes of racing, and 10 minutes goes by very, very fast behind the wheel of a sprint car. It's a 1-mile dirt track, 23-lap sprint to the end of this race. Doug Wolfgang looking for his first ever win in the Syracuse Dirt Nationals.
Front 6 spots remain unchanged. Wolfgang the leader, Steve Smith in second. Jeff Swindell, who Carter talked to during the break, is third. In fourth is Bobby Weaver, who's come up from 23rd starting spot. In fifth is Keith Kaufman, and in sixth is Doty, who came up from 32nd.
Dave Wickham sits sideways at the entrance to turn number 1, and I happened to catch that one out of the corner of my eye. He was a lucky man. You see him pointing his finger. I got a feeling he's pretty unhappy with another race driver. Wickham was coming down the front stretch where normally you just don't get that close, and normally contact doesn't happen, but he came in contact with one of the cars in the middle of the pack. I did not catch its number as they streamed by us here in front of the main grandstand, but Wickham went into a long slide coming down the front chute, and for a moment he was pointed right toward. There's car number 26 who has come to a stop there on the backstretch. Barry Camp. Barry, we reported him earlier having some type of problems mechanically. The car had slowed down, and Camp is stopped on the access road on the inside of the backstretch. But getting back to Wickham, at one point he was headed right for one of those open steel corners of a fence, Mike, but he stood on the brakes and got the car stopped just in time.
Beautiful machine. It's one we looked at earlier in our comparison piece, and sadly both of those cars, Wickham's and Smokey Snellbaker's, are now on the hook and back to the garage area. We'll be back to the Syracuse Super Nationals with more dirt track sprint car racing in just a moment.